Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Market Update Show. And today we have a lot to talk about because this is the zone where the bears and bulls are going to be battling out. Either we are going to be going back up to 52-week highs or we are going to be testing this pivot low. And the bears can go down and test that pivot low and break it. It is a first daily downtrend confirmed in a very long time for the bears to win it out. But we have to look at a lot of time frames now to see what the underlying conditions are in those time frames to give us a better understanding if this is going to be the pivot bounce for us to test the 53 high again, or this could potentially shape us a daily downtrend to go lower. So we'll be looking at QQQ as well as Sp500 and Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. So these 7 tech stocks are going to give us a better understanding of how QQQ is going to be end up shaping up in the next week or so, and we will be able to know exactly if this is a temporary top for us. And if that's the case, then we will be likely starting to put on our shorts and potentially be able to short the market. But as of now, I know we all want to short the market. I want to short the market too because of how extended this run is, but we just got to be patient before we see any weakness in the market. Otherwise, market just continue to head up because in an uptrend every single time frame. All right, so let's take a look. So extreme greed index still at extreme greed, even though we had a red day today. It's not that big of a red day today. It's like 0.75% down in QQQ. We have seen 3.5% red days back in just last year. So it's not that big of a deal. Um, the reason I think we had a red day today is because of ADP. You can see the amount of job increases in private employment, 497, which is blown out of expectation, which was much lower. And so that makes the Fed wants to hike more. So hence, I think the market was red because market has got to price in more rate hikes, as you can see. So 94% rate hike, we already know that July is going to be a hike. But now this November hike on the second hike probability is starting to increase a lot more. This November hike right here was this was only around 20-something% just a week ago, and I can see it's at 38.8. So if this just increased another couple percent, this is going to go down a couple percent, then that would be a confirmed hike as we get closer. Obviously, this can change. It's still like 3 months away, and there's going to be way more data coming in the next 3 months. But the July hike is already a for sure hike. You can see 94%, and then the rest of the year is now holding. Interesting enough, we saw that January 1st and March 20th used to be a rate cut. Now it's becoming a hold for a year or longer. Actually, not a year longer, more like half a year into March 20th. But so yeah, this just keeps on changing. You can see holding for longer is now starting to be priced into the market over and over, and as well as potentially another hike is going to be getting pretty close to hiking. So that is why market was slightly red today. And AI sentiment, we got it yesterday. So we get this every week, and this looks like a pretty darn good week for the market to rug pull you. But as of now, we don't have that yet. It's only a slight red day. You can see we have been getting very strong bullish data for the last 5 weeks, and I'm surprised this even went up again this week, and the bearishness went down because around this price, this is like the area where they could potentially shape up a pivot where we form into going lower. All right, so let's take a look at the charts now, and we'll give us a better understanding if we are actually going lower or not. So today, you can see we bounce off of the 12 EMA again. It's this 12 EMA on every tech stock just seems to be the strong support. It's been trending. So we bounce off this tail looking line. This is 12 EMA, and if you don't know where that is, go to indicators and type exponential moving average and change that number to 12. And so far, as long as the bears cannot break that 12 EMA and go below the pivots, we are not going anywhere. So we're going to zoom into the 1 hour time frames to see where the pivot is. This pivot is not that big of a deal for me because it's during pre-market. So what I want to see bear break was this pivot right here. See, around this zone as well. All this support bounces out in close to this zone as well. Bears cannot even get close to it, so it was actually not that big of a deal. Red day, we literally bounced, gave back most of the Bears gain. So the Bears, when market opened, it was over here, right? So every bear that shorted and went during cash open is red now because we are above open. But obviously, if you shorted during the pre-market, volume was a lot lower. You're still green at the moment, but cash open is more important for me. So we go to the 4 hour and we ask ourselves, can the bears confirm a 4 hour downtrend for the very first time in a while? Actually, we had it here, but so we needed one. This is the big move. This is the bounce. Is bears able to pull it off to break today's low? If they can break today's low, then we're gonna head to this 357.5. So this is a very, very key zone for me because if the bears cannot even break today's low, uh, chances of us going to 52 high is very, very high because we have set a higher low. Every low is higher than the previous low. That's what higher low is. You can see all these pivots going higher every time, meaning bulls. Psychology of it just means the bulls want to buy QQQ at a more expensive price. So if you want to buy something at a more expensive price, it means the demand is high, right? Every time it becomes a little bit cheaper, you want it. Every time it becomes a little bit cheaper, you want to get in. It's just something that you really want to buy, right? So that's the psychology of higher lows. If that keeps on continuing, we bounce again and make another higher low, bounce right here, right? That's going to form an ascending triangle, and we're very likely going to go break that 52-week high again. So, but if the bears start to show up tomorrow or next week, and we break that, get a 4 hour downtrend, breaking today's low, then we head down to this support zone right there, 361.360, and break that. Then we're going to be testing this pivot. We break that pivot, then I would say bears are starting to come back to the market and ready to short. And as of now, no signs of that yet. Bears has one initial move, and let's see if they can continue. Right, this is what this move is just something like, okay, I see some of you bears are showing up here. Let's see if you guys are serious or not. If you guys are, it will get my attention. But as of now, um, still in favoring of the bulls overall. And this bounce from the morning to the end of the day bounce um, did not play in bears' favor because if we close around low of the day, that momentum can continue tomorrow. But after this bounce, it's anybody's game now because due to the size of the bounce. Yeah. So bulls want to get over this hourly pivot. Um, Bears obviously want to break today's low. We'll see who's going to be winning out very soon. Because if you zoom out, bears still need to break this low for us to negate a daily uptrend. So right now it's still in a daily uptrend, continuing. Although we made a lower high here. So when I now the bears, if the bears want to form a daily downtrend, we need a big enough drop, next bounce, where it's gonna be shallow, break the prior low. We'll see, because the only reason that I'm giving bears a chance over here is because we didn't set a new high over here. This Wednesday candle right there. I don't want to do that. Let's go back to it. Is because if the bulls were so strong, why couldn't they test this double top and head higher? Right, that was their chance to head to 375. Um, in the wrong button, but they didn't. So that is what I want to give bears a slight chance here because we didn't make a new high. Because look at every time we had a pivot, right? Past many, many, many months, every time we set a pivot right there, we made a new high, right? Set another pivot right there, made a new high. Set another pivot, we made another new high. Set another pivot. This time, we didn't make a new high. So that was just a initial small kind of like red flag that you can scout the idea behind it. Doesn't mean that bears have won or anything, right? just that we didn't make a new high. No big deal. We could have just make a new high next time, right? Because we've been running up so much, and bulls are just potentially taking a little bit of break, right? They're like, let's just see what the market goes. If we chop sideways for some time, I'm gonna get back in the market, and the bulls are like, oh, I'm just gonna buy back again, right? After good consolidation sideways. Um, so giving bears a little bit of a chance here, as long as we can break these pivots. But we'll see if they can or not. And all right, let's take a look at SPY. SPY is shaping up to be, yeah. So it's a quadruple top. We're talking about this where that's just pretty clear resistance. Everyone and your grandma knows where this resistance is. It can't be more obvious or not. So obviously, it's gonna be a lot of sellers in this zone because everybody's looking at the same resistance. Means everybody's gonna be selling the same spot, right? So unless we have a clear break above it, everyone's gonna be buying on the same spot. But we have a breakout, right? So that's essentially what these support resistance. They're just lines, right? But that's how they work because everyone is watching at the same lines. The diagonal ones would be different. Those were just for visual guys for me, especially those patterns. But these ones, diagonal ones, are more resourceful in terms of what they're for. But we also bounce off of the 12 EMA, so I wouldn't say this is a win for the bears yet. Same with QQQ. You can see the tail looking line 12 EMA is always acting as support. We got below it one day here, came straight back above it. So I want to see us close below it for at least one day. But SPY is still shaping up okay, as long as we are still above this prior pivot right there. Same thing as QQQ. Every pivot is making a new high. So as long as we hold above this prior pivot, even this move on SPY made a new high. So I was a little bit stronger than QQQ during this day. So I made a slightly new high, but for me, it's a quadruple top. So let's say this is going to be the pivot set, right? And we're probably going to test this again, right? If this is the actual pivot set. So tomorrow we'll know this is the actual pivot low set because tomorrow we'll have a continuation of the trend. If it continues on the hourly trend, then it's very high probability this is it. And we're going to test it here again. Also, same as QQQ, we're making a higher low, meaning every low of the pivot is higher than the previous one. So same thing, right? Bulls want to be buying SPY more expensive. I mean, that's a good sign for the bulls. As long as that don't change at all, we continue to follow the trend, right? And so we zoom in to take a look to see if what the structure of this bullish candle. Let's see, because it's a lower wick, so that's a bullish candle. So let's take a look. Same thing, big drop pre-market and bounce into end of the day. Yep. So no trend changes yet for the bears either. Hourly uptrend, big enough drop. Didn't test the prior pivot, so technically still an hourly uptrend. Or you can, yeah. So as long as the bears don't break today's low, it is not an hourly downtrend. And bulls just wanted to test 3 hikes. So it is same thing with QQQ. Let's see bears show up, break pivots. We don't even break any pivots. First step right here, this low. It'll be 3437.6. Break that gets me a little bit more interested because we're gonna test right here if we do break that for 435. If we do break this one, we're testing 435. If we break 435, we're gonna come down to 431.7. And bulls, very, very clear for you guys. This is where you guys want to break 443.5. Yep. All right. Let's take a look at the big tech stocks for us to get a better understanding of where QQQ is going to head because QQQ is going to be leading SPY as usual. And, all right. Let's start out with Nvidia. Nvidia is looking like it's going to form an equilibrium because it's just indecision on both sides. You can tell right away. Upper wicks, indecision. Nobody wants to buy up there. Nobody's selling after it goes a little bit lower. So that for me is what an equilibrium looks like. It tightens up every time it goes to the different directions. It tightens up. Doesn't go to a new low or a new high. And then once it finishes tightening up, it will decide which one wants to break with volume. What it looks like right now. I'm surprised we broke for 20, came back above it and closed right on it. So it's very indecision right now for Nvidia. So let's just zoom in. Yeah, if we're looking at the hourly chart, it's very choppy. Same thing, a lot of indecision. It's just tightening up. And now we will have to see if it's just a chop zone. You can see this zone versus this zone. 437 is where the bulls want to go back to and break above and have 52 highs again. Bears want to break this 404. If you don't, it can happen for bulls or the bears. It's speed chopping in this zone. Um, there's just not a lot of price action up here. So those are the two zones they are going to be working with. If we break 437, we're going to make a new high. Probably head to 450, but that would mean QQQ will probably make new highs as well. So no signs of that yet, obviously. And this 420 is currently the battle zone between bulls and bears. Bulls get above it. Bears take it back down again. They try going back and forth. You can see this back and forth action right here. Yeah, 420 is your guys' battle zone, and this is the zone where you guys want to get through. If we do break 404, we're going to 400, and then it would be the psychological support. If we break 400, we are going back to this structure, this previous earnings structure, where you take us back to this low right there, 378. And bulls, if you do break that, you're going to all-time highs, and there is nothing stopping you guys, especially when you guys are at all-time highs, because there is no resistance at all-time highs other than wanting to take profit. So now is in decision zone. So we'll give Nvidia a break and see where it wants to decide where it wants to go before you take a position. All right. Before we look at Tesla, remember yesterday I was talking about the semiconductor potentially leading the market down today, and that's essentially what happens. So we go to SMH, which is the semiconductor sector, and you can see it dropped 1% today. It was down over 2% today during the morning when we gapped down open, 2.3%. So yesterday, QQQ was flat. And you can see also the semiconductor sector was down over 1.6%. So will we continue to see the semi sector lead QQQ down? Because it was leading QQQ up as well during this Nvidia's earning craziness going on there. So it's potentially shaping up looking like a little bit of a head and shoulders here, even though I don't like how the right shoulder is so much higher than the left. But the psychology of it is from an uptrend into a downtrend is what a head and shoulders is. So you don't have to have perfect patterns as long as we know the psychology behind the pattern. So currently, it is shaping up a little bit like one. So, but if we can't even break this pivot low right there on 146.8, the semiconductor pivot low, then there's just nothing happening on the structure of the chart. Even though we had two big red days, the bulls just buy the dip, buying this pivot, and we're probably going to head up higher again to test this 52 high range, right? So as long as the bears cannot break the structure of the chart, even though we have, let's say, two big red days, it's no big deal. Just want to let you guys know the structure of the chart is very important, especially where the pivots are at, and they determine the most likely scenario of the next move. So if this pivot holds, but the most likely scenario of the next move is up, because it just means nobody wants to sell down here, and that all the buyers that were buying this pivot is still green and it's still not stopped out yet. Because let's say when I saw this, not me, but like let's say when Bob, Joe, or Smith saw this really good strong move up, They buy the dip, the pivot, for the next move up, set the stop loss right below the pivot. Price drops, bounces, they get in again, sets the stop loss below the pivot. Because they never got stopped out on the prior pivot, now they can move their stop loss up to this current pivot. And they ride the next move up. Guess what? Now we have two big data dropped, but we're still above this prior pivot. So nobody has gotten stopped out yet, other than the people that decided to take profit already, right? Um, so if they never get stopped out, they're still holding their positions for the next move up. But if we bounce a little bit tomorrow and we drop and forms that daily downtrend, everyone that was set their pivot here will be stopped out, right? And when you get stopped out, it means you're selling. That would create more momentum on the downside. That's how these pivots work. It says when we had this strong move up, the short here, it drops, right? But the next move up breaks the prior high. All the shorts got stopped out. They had to cover. So now they're buying the stock. Now it brings momentum in for bulls to be buying in as well as shorts covering. So now it creates the move after the momentum. Same thing. If we have a rec day tomorrow, breaks this pivot, right? Have more momentum on the downside. So we'll continue to be watching SMH, to the semiconductor sector, for us to give us better clues if there's going to be more downside on QQQ. Because if semiconductors breaks this pivot, we're going to be coming to test this pivot, right? And if we break that pivot, it's probably a very quick drop for me due to this is a gap, meaning there's not a lot of volume there. And it was that day when Nvidia had their earnings. And if we do break this pivot, it's very likely a quick flush to probably over here. It's 134 for me. Let's see how many percent is that when we break this pivot from there to this 6.5%, right? That's doable probably in 2 days, especially in the semi sector. Where we are right now to this pivot is 3%. And here is about 9%. If we do form a daily downtrend on QQQ, and this is not unreasonable for the semi sector as well. So we'll continue to monitor, see if this breaks, and give us some leading indicators on QQQ. All right, let's take a look at the big 7 tech stocks now. That'll be Tesla, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Meta, and I might have missed one, but we'll see in a second. All right, Tesla. So I am surprised this gap is still not filled. That's a pretty strong move for the pretty strong defense for the bulls, let's just say. And we are starting to get a divergence on RSI. I don't use RSI that much, but sometimes you can see divergence here. See, this is a higher high. And when the stock made a new high, it is not. It's making a lower high here. So this high is lower. That's a divergence, a bearish divergence. But sometimes they work, sometimes it doesn't. So I stick to the price action because all indicators are essentially derived from the price action. Most of the momentum indicators are lagging, but it's good to sometimes have these as just visual guys for you. Sometimes just to know what's going on behind the scene, but let's look at the price action. So Tesla bounced off of prior resistance. So when this was acting as strong resistance, when we come down to it, we want to see a bounce off of it. So that's a good sign for the bulls. Usually it bounced off of it the first time we tested it when it was a strong resistance, not acting as strong support. But it doesn't mean we're bouncing off of it going to 52 highs. It just means it's going to act as support initially. And then we have to see if the bulls are serious or not when we have a pullback, right? So we have a slight pullback. Can the bulls buy it back up and form continuation of a hourly uptrend? That's what we have to see. If not, that would just a temporary bounce, test the support, see if there's any buyers. No buyers, boom, we're going back down. So if we do break today's low, which is right here at 273, we are gonna probably fill this gap. It's my most likely. This 275 273, and we're heading down to this gap fill. It'll be 264. Even if we do fill the gap, it's not end of the world for bulls because guess what? We're still above prior pivots. This is the pivot that bulls have to work with. They have a ton of room. It's 11% of the downside before the bears break the pivot. The only thing is, if the bears have a big enough move, guess what? The next bounce, they can potentially scout a lower high pivot. But as of now, this is a puny move. So no big deal at the moment. But obviously, if QQQ forms this, where's my QQQ? Q forms this. This is the QQQ setting the lower high, meaning lower than this high, and forms a downtrend. That's going to be the case for Tesla as well. Tesla is going to be shaping up probably a drop as well, even though Tesla is relatively stronger. You can see it made a higher high, higher than previous high. All right, let's take a look to see if we do break. We do break this 284, we're heading to 295. And if we break 295, we're heading to the top of the zone, 313 chop zone right there. And for you bears, you obviously need to break today's low first. That's like your very, very first step. And if you guys can break today's low, you fill the gap. And fill the gap, we will be at 26. That'll be today's 264.45. So you'll be filling that gap. Even if you fill the gap as a bear, you still have this pivot to work with to try to break this pivot low. That's around 240. A lot of work to do for a bear to even break the structure of the chart. But for you bulls, your continuation of your daily, weekly, monthly uptrend, all you guys' current flavors. So no signs to be worried about until we have a big enough drop. Then I'll start to tell you guys be cautious because next bounce it can be shaping up a lower high. No signs of that yet. All right, let's take a look at Apple. Impressive. Most of the impressive stock there is filled the gap. We dropped like what 0.7%, and we turned pretty much green, flat. So let's see how much we dropped. We dropped like 1 point. No, that's not where we started yesterday. We started here. This red candle right there, and we dropped about 1%. So it's like Apple just never drops. So we drop 1%, fill the gap, bounce off of this prior support, and now we are back up all the way to close to 52 highs. So what I've been talking about Apple is 12 EMA. As long as we don't even break the daily time frame of this teal looking line, 12 EMA, bears are not going anywhere. This 12 EMA. You can see it's been trending on it. So first step for the bears, break the 12 EMA. I want to see a candle close below it before I even consider any weakness on the stock. And out to the 2-day time frame. 12 EMA 2-day has never been broken since this little puny break for 1 day, and we came straight back up to it. So that is on February 24th, 28th, sorry. So if you're a bull, I would just hold it until this 2-day EMA 12 breaks and take your profit or whatever you want. You can even hold it for forever, and you'll probably be higher in the next year anyways. So, but for short-term traders, daily and 2-day EMA 12 is my full bull control guide. And if it just continues to trend up on it, there is no worry for you bulls. And you bears, yeah, like I said, for you bears, you just very first thing you need to break those EMAs. Otherwise, you guys aren't going anywhere. Even though we had a hourly downtrend confirming for the past couple of days, this bounce is pretty notable, where the next drop is going to be a higher low. The pivot is going to be higher than prior pivots. So we'll see when this drop shapes up tomorrow. It's going to be low. It's going to be higher than this low. If not, let's say we make a U-turn, then we're probably gonna go test those 12 EMAs on the daily chart. Now, no signs of that yet. Full bull control, and as long as Apple don't break down, QQQ is not gonna break down that hard. So, but we have to take a look at other ones. So Amazon, surprisingly, not surprisingly, but due to, I think it's because the Meta bull break showed us how lacking follow through uh, it is. Maybe scare some of the Amazon investors because we just cannot get over this quadruple top. And now we're back down here at this chop zone. So I talk about this zone. This is the first zone. Now this is the second zone, right? And we couldn't get over this top of the zone. Now we came down to exactly the bottom of the zone. The bottom of the zone is the prior top of the zone. So obviously it's going to act as support when we first touch it. So what happened? Touched it in the morning, right there, right in this morning drop, and then we bounce off it. This is a pretty weak bounce, if you ask me. But probably looks like not in the bear flag territory, but it's under 50%. So let's take a look, see if it's under 50% or not. Top of the move. Although we can measure it, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we are under 50% roughly. Yep. You can also measure from this top of this move here. Doesn't really matter, but we are under 50%. Under 50% means it favors the bears for more downside. So if you break today's pivot low right there, then it's a big flag for me. Because why? Because we have chopping in this zone for so long. Bull break yesterday, not yesterday, sorry, 2 days ago on Monday. Back follow through, came back underneath it. Now we're breaking bear into back to this prior zone. So that's a red flag for me. Meant every bull that bought after this breakout candle here in the zone is now all red. You'll probably get stopped out as well. Because if I got in here on this breakout candle right there, if I added here, I would have set my stop loss right under here as well, in case it comes back to it and I am wrong on the trade and I lose a little bit of money. Same thing. This was a bull break where I stopped out the shorts, came back through it. So let me delete these lines here. So this was kind of like break above, stop out all the shorts, see if there's any bull buyers. There was no bull buyers. And so they decided to just take it back because there's no buyers after that breakout. They were testing to see if there's buyers in that breakout. So just stopped out all the shorts. And now we're back underneath here. So red flag for me right here. Huge red flag for me if we break this 127. If we could bounce from here, no big deal. We're still in this chop zone. Until the structure of the chart breaks, not that big a deal for me. So until this 131 breaks or this 127 breaks, structure of the chart is still the same. But obviously, this last 2 days is not looking good for Amazon. And we're underneath the 12 EMA. You can see bouncing off of it quite often. Now we have closed just right under it. Amazon is went from team bull to now team slightly middle for me now. And yeah, we'll see who's joining who in later. So let's take a look at Google. Google also a red flag, slightly red flag, but not. Google went from team bear daily downtrend to team bull daily uptrend. Now back to team middle neutral trend because guess what? We broke the prior pivot. This was the prior pivot for the daily uptrend. So this is the pivot right there. And we went below it today. But the bulls can argue that you guys bounced off of it, above it, but we still did break below the pivot. So now we're in a neutral trend. So now, it's anyone's. Honestly, this place is anyone's guess. It's we're in this indecision zone because this is a bull break and no follow through. Now we have a bear break and no follow through. So we're now right in the middle. It's just like Nvidia, where it's an indecision zone. No clear directions at the moment. It's not as clear as Apple or how clear Apple is on the bullish side. So So what do we have for you bears? Break today's low. That's a big win for me if you guys break today's low. Coming back to 116 if we do break today's low. And if you can break above this pivot high, that would be a huge win for the bulls because we will be back in this zone, in this higher, really important top zone. And so this was kind of like yesterday's price action was kind of like a bull break for me, backed into the zone and a rejection from it. So that's a little bit of a red flag. But today we also bounce off of here, so it's an indecision right now. See, tomorrow, see who's going to win the battle. So it's a very key battle for me for QQQ and all these big tech stocks. A lot of indecision right in the middle because we're at that zone where it's like if we break bear, there's going to be a lot of bear momentum coming in, and if we do big bull, we're going back up to 53 highs. So it's like right at that key zone, battle zone. Super important for the next couple of days. Friday, today is Thursday, so tomorrow's Friday. So yeah, the next couple of days, next couple trading days is going to be very important. All right, last two to go: Microsoft and Meta. And like I recorded over 40 minutes of it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys like a little bit shorter and precise, or just like it the way it is right now, where I do very detailed analysis, where and the psychology behind the price actions and where it likely is going to go. And yeah, so let me know in the comments if you guys like it in a like a 20-minute format of the video. Sometimes I do 20 minutes, sometimes I do a little longer, like this, 40 minutes or more. Let me know, and if you guys learn anything, feel free to if you do subscribe, you made it this far as well, and the likes on your shares are all appreciated. All right, let's take a look at Microsoft. So Microsoft is, I would say, in team bull because Microsoft over here actually formed a daily downtrend, but negated it and formed a uptrend here, just like Google. And it also held its prior pivot, not like Google, where I just showed you guys that it broke. So Google's candle today was broke down here and then came up and closed around here. So that's what Google's look like. You can see Microsoft, it didn't even break yesterday's low. And it closed at the high of the shop zone. So after some Microsoft testing, this strong resistance over here is triple top. Tomorrow again, very, very likely. Although QQ is slightly red, like 0.1%. After hours, but it's not like a big deal unless we get a big drop in futures overnight. Uh, that may change the structure of the chart, but now it's still in favor of the bulls for Microsoft. You can see it was relatively stronger than QQQ. See, right in the morning, Microsoft was confirming 15-minute uptrends for the whole day, while QQQ in the morning was dropping to the low of the day. So it was relatively way stronger than QQQ. So essentially, this was what held QQQ up. Apple and Microsoft was the lead tech bulls today. If it wasn't for these two, QQQ would have been deep red due to the other Amazon, Google was dropping. Yeah, so Microsoft obviously is one of the strongest, and they're likely testing again this zone right there. It's pretty much coincides exactly. So 31341 and 342 is the quadruple top resistance Microsoft needs to get over. If we get over that, probably heading back to 349, even though it's let's see how many percent that is. If we get over that, we'll be here 2%. Yeah, probably be. So if Microsoft can get over 349 and Apple heading back to all-time highs, QQQ is going to break that 52-week high. So that's why it's so important for us to break down these big tech stocks because it gives us better understanding if QQQ is going to break. So if Apple and Microsoft break these resistance, QQQ is going to also break its resistance. But then you can also argue Google, Amazon, and potentially Nvidia, it looks getting weaker. So, but as well as Meta, potentially looking a little bit like a bull break, lacking follow through. If you go back to my video from yesterday, I was talking about that. Okay, this could potentially be a bull break lacking follow through, but we don't have enough time left in hours due to we only sold off in the last hour. And I was saying that everyone and their grandma probably set their stop loss above this level as well, because everyone saw this quadruple top level there, right? If you were a bull, if I was a bull, I would have set my stop loss right here, right below this candle's pivot. Guess what? We never broke below it. And if I was a bear, I would have set my stop loss right at this, right there as well, right above this high, in case we have a bull break. So that's essentially what happens. So when we had a bull break right there, all the shorts that had a stop loss had to cover. So when you cover, it means you're buying back your shares, right? Because you're shorting. And bulls are buying this breakout as well at the same time. So both of them are putting buying pressure into the stock when this breaks. But it that was essentially that's what happened. So bulls bought the breakout and shorts had to cover, and there's no one left that wanted to buy. Essentially, is what it looks like at the moment, because you can see we have set that top right there at this close to this 300. We did hit 300. Yep, exactly 300 psychological resistance, and that was it. There's just no more buyers, and you can see this is a head and shoulders confirming actually. When we broke this neckline right there, right, this one right there, it confirmed, and that was a bear break. I can follow through, but now we broke it again in after hours, so it's a confirmed 1 hour head and shoulders of Facebook going from a hourly uptrend into a hourly downtrend. So that's a red flag for me, especially one day after the bull break. So I was talking about this yesterday, saying on that video yesterday, saying if this happens the very next day, it is a red flag. Especially if it was okay, if it was happening like it chops around a little bit, and then we break and then we bounce, that is no big deal, right? If we break, U-turn, that is a bull break lacking follow through. So, well, pretty clear where the support is, because this was such a strong resistance prior to us breaking out of that, right? So guess what? The very first time we touch here is definitely going to bounce, but how much it bounces, we don't know, right? If it's strong selling, we can come down here, bounce just a tiny bit, and then break through that. That would be probably game over for the bulls. Temporary. I'm not saying the stock is game over. It's meta. It's not like a penny stock, right? But it's temporary. It would be probably be some notable stop loss here, because when you buy the breakout here as a bull, if that's what I did, I would be setting my stop loss slightly below it, just in case it peekaboos and comes back up, just to troll people. It happens all the time. So give you some room on your stop losses. Give you a little bit of wiggle room. Sometimes it likes to do this break below, forms a bottom wedge, come back up, bounces above, go back higher. And you just kick yourself all day long when that happens, and you know how that feels. And so just give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. Other than that, this is the zone, right? 289. If it breaks, and if you're a bull and it breaks, I probably would just take profit if you were in it already from back here, um, back all the way down here. And or if you bought it back up here, just take that little loss. But and if we bounce, then you're okay. We're okay. Like it's it may be our head and shoulders confirming, but if we do bounce from here and go back higher, then you are fine as a bull. We're probably going to test that 300 again. Obviously, we're not going to just shoot straight up to all-time highs or whatever, but still okay at the moment. Just but you can see red flags starting to form in the hourly chart. But yeah, daily chart still looks okay because we have not broken key structures. But this breaks, then we're starting to break key structures, and we're not looking good. All right. Let's take a look. Why is Meta down so much after hours? Let's see here. Let's take a look. Meta is down over 0.34% after hours for some reason. Interesting. So probably just a technical break of that head and shoulders, because that neckline was right here. So it's a technical break on the shoulders break. So not that big of a deal. As long as we hold above 389, no big deal. Bears, you don't have to worry about if we can't get over 300, because that's going to be the zone we're probably chopping around. So you bears just hold tight. If you can't break over this 300 top, bulls hold tight if you don't break below 389. Right. That's all I got for you guys today. And feel free to subscribe or like and share. It's always appreciated. If you guys made it this far and if you guys got any questions, feel free to comment below and let me know what you guys think about the the format of these videos. If you guys like it shorter, like the 20-minute quicker breakdown where I just gave you guys the directions, most likely scenario directions of the charts, or something like this, a little bit more detailed, where I go through pretty much every time frame and the psychology of these patterns and charts. Yeah, because that'll give me a better understanding of what kind of contents you guys want as well. And yeah, set your stop losses, respect your trades, be patient. And when we see some downside, I'll let you guys know it's time to short. But as of now, maybe it's going to be next week, because it could shape up that potential lower high on that QQQ. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the update. Have a great rest of you guys' day.